This is One Broke Gamer Girl, and this is my review of Gems of War for the PlayStation 4. This was one of those free PlayStation games that I never in a million years thought that I would actually finish. This is usually because while these games are tempting, and I have a lot of them, they depend heavily on microtransactions and a hell of a lot of grinding, which gets boring and makes me shelve the game. Anyway, I actually finished the main part of this game, not including the DLC, and since I finished the game, it means that it's time for a review. I didn't expect there to be a story to this bejeweled type of battle game, but there is. You'll start off with a set amount of kingdoms, having to buy kingdoms as you go, and each kingdom will have its own story where you'll have to help someone and then end up adding that character to your party and being able to put them on your team. Not only is there that, but there's also some good old PvP, an arena battle, a treasure map challenge, and now guild wars. All of this is free, and it's hundreds and hundreds of hours of content. Since there's so much to actually do with this game, let's talk about the kingdoms first. Each kingdom will have its own story, and while at first this is interesting, after a while it gets a little cliched and boring, to the point where you'll just want to skip the kingdoms altogether. Then there's PvP. I like the way this is done because you don't actually have to play against a live person. Each person has their team set up that they want to use in PvP, and the computer will play for them. This eliminates having to actually play with another person and having them ditch the game when they're losing. Arena Battle lets you pick a random team and gives you a set amount of matches to win, but also a set amount of times to lose. If you win, you can win big money, but if you lose, then you're out the 1,000 coins it takes to get in. The Treasure Map Challenge is a good way to match up coins and chests in order to get more money and other goodies in the game, but it does cost you wings, which you can get naturally at times, or you'll end up paying for them. Then there's the new edition of Guild Wars. You'll need to start your own guild or join a guild to do this, and you'll basically square off against other guilds for 6 days out of the week to move up in rank, get some cash, and other goodies if you win. Sounds like a lot, right? Because it is. But it's also really grindy, and to be honest, if it wasn't for the Guild Wars and the need to get one more DLC trophy, I would stop playing because it gets to the point where you're just done with the game, and I'm at that point. As I said before, this is basically Bejeweled but with a twist. You'll choose your team of warriors based on the troops that you have and set up your team. Once you have your team, you'll square off against another team in various different areas. You'll do this by matching different colored gems on a board as well as skulls. Match 3 or more skulls and your first player attacks the other player. This works the other way too, that if your opponent matches 3 skulls, you also get hit. Match up the colored gems that you need in order to unlock your character or a character on your team's special trait and then attack the other team. Same goes for the other team that you're playing against as well. It sounds confusing, but it's really not, and it's a super simple game to play. The game operates smoothly, and although it had some problems with stalling and lag and other stuff at release, this has basically been cleared up with various different patches and DLC that have been added. Microtransactions galore. There are a ton of microtransactions for this game, as there are with other free-to-play games. I've seen people dump tons of money into this game, and I really can't understand why, because if you play as grindy as this game gets, you can and will unlock what you need to be successful and play the game. I know the microtransactions, which range from 99 cents to $99, are tempting because they offer you all these things that they want you to think you absolutely need, but seriously, don't spend your money on this game because you don't need to in order to enjoy the game. The graphics for this game are actually pretty cool, and I really didn't expect that going in. As the game has been patched and more DLC released, the graphics continue to get better as animations and character cards, along with the board itself, gets fleshed out a little bit more each time. I've been playing this game for a while now, about 11 months, and I have to say that the graphics were good when I started, and I'm impressed that they've gotten better with each patch. When the game started, there were only 18 trophies. The trophies were pretty simple, and required you to play the game and reach level 100. All of the trophies basically came naturally, and you had to grind to reach 100. Now there are a total of 36 trophies for this game, and I have to say that only one of them is purely luck-based, while the rest require you to grind your way to get them. They aren't hard and they aren't easy. I would say they're in the middle, and if you're a trophy hunter, be prepared for a really long grind. There isn't multiplayer for this game in the typical sense of a multiplayer game, but there are 2 different types of multiplayer. There's your standard PvP and Guild Wars, With your standard PvP, you'll face off against another team of players that aren't actually playing. The AI will be playing for them as you make your moves. The same thing with Guild Wars, but you'll be given a set amount of troops to defeat each day. I kind of like the multiplayer this way because, like I said before, people can't rage quit when they're losing, and if they lose, they lose, and if you lose, you lose. Everything works out better this way, and I don't have to worry about if someone lost internet connection or they're acting like they did to see if I leave the match. Overall, I give this game a 4 out of 5. Here's what's great. There are a bunch of things to do, and to get through the whole game will take hundreds of hours. There's multiplayer without the hassle of actually having to play with other people, and the graphics are solid, and so are the animations, and they keep getting better with each patch. Here's what's not so great. Microtransactions galore. I mean, seriously, there are a lot of microtransactions for this game that will try to suck you in. Also, the game is really grindy, and after a while it can become quite boring. For a free-to-play game, I would say that this is one of the more decent ones. I played a lot of free-to-play games, but this is by far my favorite. There are a bunch of things to do, and you can get lost spending hour after hour playing this game. The only downside is that there are a bunch of microtransactions, and after a while, the grindy nature of this game gets boring and frustrating. Other than that, I would give this game a strong recommendation since it's free, and there's no harm in giving it a try if you want something that's like Bejeweled but with a twist.